Welcome to this week's masterclass. I am Nazar, and I will be your host today. We have Robert is it Pemberton? Is that how you pronounce it?
Yep, Pemberton. Yep, you got it. Nice and
Perfect.
English.
Got the nice red beard there from all the way from Ohio, and he'll be discussing what topic are you discussing today?
I call it acres. I call it acres of diamonds. Your next deal is in your sphere. So the best option for your next deal is right in your own backyard. So let's go find it.
What I find interesting about this topic is that I suck at working my sphere. I've always been the person that has had this just this PTSD with the people that call me, that are friends of mine or people I haven't spoken to for like
Mhm.
5 years, and they say, "Hey," I'm like, "Hey, how's it going?" I'm like super excited to talk to them. And then what they tell me is, "Hey, I've got this opportunity for you." I'm like, "Oh gosh," that's all you call me for, right? So I've always had
Right.
like this aversion to calling them. And so I've done all my business and spending money and getting leads and converting them. So I'm really curious to
Mhm.
see what you have to say. And obviously the people that do work their sphere, which people are already people that know, like, and trust you, it's so much
Mhm.
easier to do business with them. And the people that I have done business with that are past clients of mine, it's such an easier transaction. So go ahead and take it away, Rob.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I hate to spend my money on strangers. I'd rather spend it on friends and family and find my next deal with my current friends and family. So let's see. I've got a brief PowerPoint here, so I'm going to try and share my screen. Let's see how it works here. So all right, let's give this a shot. So acres of diamonds. Let's talk about your next deal is in your sphere. So, first trick, we got to talk about your database. Okay. Your database has to be mailable, emailable, textable, and callable. Like your friends and family, your past clients, you need to make sure that you can contact them through postcards, through email, text, callable. And now, with this new generation of social media, you have to be able to post online. You have to be in their algorithm. And the best way to do that is have your data somewhere where you can reach out to them whenever you can. Speaking of um, speaking of your sphere and speaking of social media, you're going to want to be looking for the 5 Ds on Facebook, on social media, on Instagram, on TikTok. I'm talking about death, divorce, diamonds, diapers, and diplomas. These are big life changes in people's lives. And so when grandpa dies and grandma moves into a home, that is a listing opportunity for you. When unfortunately divorce happens, that means there's a listing and probably a condo purchase in the same school district. Diamonds, people get engaged, they want to traditionally, the bride now has a condo that she wants to sell, the groom is renting, there are going to be two sells or a buy sell in there for you. Diplomas, people
Hold on, hold on,
graduate
hold
from
on.
college. Yeah.
Why is it that the wife or the female has the place to sell and the guy's a loser that's in an apartment? What's up with that? I don't
Uh,
understand that.
the, so when you talk about first-time home buyers, the majority of first-time home buyers right now are women, and so they are making moves financially that are more that women mature faster than men, and so they tend to have home ownership. They buy a condo with little to low maintenance, so they can start building equity. And the man is usually sharing a place with a roommate, and so usually, so I've worked wedding shows like. First comes love, then comes marriage, then comes the mortgage. So let's go as they're shopping for wedding dress and caterers, you get to meet 800 brides and grooms, and they're from all stages of life, from 20-year-old couples to um, folks that are empty nesters or on their second or third marriage. And $800 for a table to a wedding show will come back to you tenfold in commissions.
Wow.
And so you can go from there, split that cost with a lender that can pre-approve them right there from the jump. And I've had a lot of success with that.
Okay, hold on. I think like from just that nugget alone, I mean, if you guys aren't doing that, I've never done that before. I think it's a genius idea. There's wedding shows all the time. Now, most people,
Yep.
it's not on their radar because they're not looking to get married. But if you actually were to type in wedding shows in my area, I'm sure you can find a ton of
Mhm.
them that you can sign up for. So that's genius.
Yeah. So yeah, in Ohio, when the weather turns in November and December, you go pick a wedding show on a Saturday morning, and it's a table, a tablecloth, and then my trick is I give away a very fancy coffee maker. Like, hey, when your new kitchen, you want to have a fancy Nespresso, and so I'm giving away a $400 coffee maker, and everybody signs up. Then at
Wow.
the end of the show, they email you the entire database, and then you can call them up and say, hey, you won the coffee maker or you didn't win the coffee maker, but it was nice chatting with you. We had a conversation about selling your condo and buying your next home in this specific suburb. And so then you've got probably 20 good conversations and 800 new names for your database.
It's awesome. Genius.
So, yeah. Mhm. Diplomas, people are graduating college all over the state and they're looking to move somewhere. And so, nurses, doctors, architects, anybody with a college degree, especially school teachers, they're looking to get into that first school district. So, look for diplomas and diapers. Anybody having a baby is probably running out of space. And in today's market with high interest rates, death and divorce are things that make people move. You can cramp out in a rental for another year or two until you get your situation where you want it to be. But new babies, death, and divorce means you have to list. So pay attention to those things. And you can actually go to Facebook, go up into the search bar, and type in um, death or funeral or wedding or baby shower, and it will tell you which of your friends have posted about those things recently or friends of friends. And so it gives you more of a targeted list on when you're going to reach out to your people. Because when I look at my database of 2,200 people, I'm like, where do I start? I start with my most recent clients and I start with people with life events. And so I go from there. Let's see. As we move on, we want to talk about everyday appointments. If you start every day with a cup of coffee and you end every day with a glass of whatever your drink is, but if you start every day with a cup of coffee with a vendor, a lender, a title rep, somebody that can help you in your business, and then end every day with a glass of wine with a client or future client, you will get business. That's 10 appointments per week. And we're all drinking coffee or having a glass of wine anyway. So just partner up with a client or a vendor that can help your business and you'll move in the right direction. Now, some of my new agents, when they come on the team, they have trouble setting appointments. So you got to give the choice of two. Do you want to go Tuesday or Thursday? Do you want morning or afternoon, 9 a.m. or 11 a.m.? And give them options because when you say the phrase, when are you free? I don't know. I'm overwhelmed with all the things on my calendar. I have no idea when I'm free. So you pick it for them and then help them narrow it down with the choice of two. Some success I've had this year, I do a housewarming party. Hey, if you're a first time home buyer, if you are new to the neighborhood, I'll put together a housewarming party, $1,000 for a taco truck. I invite everybody through green envelope. I get my lender to pay for the booze or the soft drinks, depending on the client's choice. And the trick is, I have them give me the invites, so I do the invites. I send it out through green envelope, a Facebook event. I call them, I text them, I email them. Now I have 30 new names for my database, and I am better with a drink in my hand than I am cold calling a Zillow lead. And so as I welcome them to the home, hey, Sam's having a party on Saturday, free tacos, free drinks. Why don't you come on over and welcome Sam to the neighborhood? And so from there, they walk in. Well, my realtor never did anything like this for me. I know, I know, but I threw this party for Sam, and I'm glad you could be here. If you have any real estate needs, I'm here to answer your questions. By the way, Tom, the lender, is over there if you have any questions about financing and what's going on with rates. And so it's a nice little 2-hour event. They do the cleanup. All you do is schedule the truck, send out the invites, show up, and have a good time. It's a pretty fun opportunity. I try and do a monthly client happy hour. So every month I have a different vendor that I partner with. First round of drinks is on me. Second round of drinks is on the lender, the title folks, the home inspector. And then I invite my current, past, and future clients to the open or to the happy hour so that they can spend time with me asking whatever questions they want. They can pick the mind of the lender. And so if they make it, they make it. If they don't, they don't. But it also gives me an opportunity when I'm cold calling or we're calling a past client to talk about the next event. So I can reach out and say, hey, I'm just calling to check in, see how you're doing. Oh, by the way, I'm getting together on Thursday. You should come out. And so that way it's not an empty phone call. You're like, well, I don't know what to talk about next. You're always leading to the next event.
Real quick, Rob, I
Yeah.
think I'm still like wrapping my head around the
Sorry,
whole.
I'm going fast. I'm firing away. So
No, you're good. And please, you guys, if you guys have any questions, please post them in the chats, so you can answer them. I literally was just on Facebook right now and I did a search for divorce, and it blows my mind that from like my friend group and the groups that I'm a part of, like, community groups and stuff like that, I'm seeing posts about divorce. Now, some of them are just making, as a side comment, but some are like, hey, I'm getting a divorce. I need help with this. And so, I'm looking for a divorce attorney or whatever it is.
mhm.
And what's interesting is that from this post, one of them I know is actually a listing that I have right now. is a guy that had gotten a divorce recently and ultimately ended up like, listing his wife's house so that they can then buy a house together. And then
Hmm.
there's multiple ones that were just like, in my neighborhood, people, not neighborhood, but community, at saying, hey, I'm
Hmm.
looking for a divorce attorney. I'm like, what a freaking gold mine, just right on Facebook. That doesn't cost any money
Right.
to do, to be able to,
No. And most of us are already scrolling anyway. We're two screen people. We got the big screen on the wall watching the TV or some Netflix, and then you got the little screen in your hand. And so just scrolling through, hit search. Who's having a baby shower? If you don't want to be in that awkward situation of trying to play both sides or being neutral in a divorce, look for baby showers, look for wedding showers, look for graduation parties. Like those are things that, oh, your last child is graduating and now you're an empty nester. Why don't you enjoy the summer getting it ready and we'll sell it in the fall? Like those are easy, free scrolling around on Facebook, and you just, pardon my French, slide up in their DMs and get that business.
I think what's interesting is that, like, most people use Facebook and Instagram and social media as a time suck or a way to buffer from their emotions and their
Hmm.
feelings. But you
Hmm.
can very well and very easily strategically use it as a business tool. And those that do make money from it, those that don't suck all their time away and are not productive. So I
Hmm.
think it's a really interesting way to, I mean, you say scrolling, but it's not. It's intentional scrolling and looking for
Right.
opportunities versus just numbing away.
Hmm. Absolutely. So, I mean, there's a gold mine out there. Like you're standing in an acre full of diamonds. You just got to do a little bit of digging to find your next deal. And so this is where I get my business. I don't pay for internet leads, and so this is always me just talking to my sphere and figuring out where the next deal is going to come from.
Love it.
So, all right, let's see. Gross listing multiplier. So every time you get a listing, you should sell that listing 5 times. You should sell that listing. You should find a buyer for that listing and do dual agency if that's allowed in your state. You should find a buyer for a different home. As you run that open house, they come in, they like the neighborhood, but not that house. So now they're your buyer. You should find a listing in that neighborhood. Hey, I just sold neighbor Joe's house for top dollar. Would you think about moving too? And then you should do such a good job that you get a warm referral from your seller. So when you have listings, your next deal is coming from that listing. And so I'll show you what I do with my marketing plan so that I can find those next deals. So
Real quick,
this
Rob,
is, yeah.
if you don't mind, unshare your screen.
Hmm.
And two reasons for that. One, you can just use that as like a tool for you to be able to, stay on
Sure.
track. I think
Hmm.
people like more of just being able to like see everyone's faces more.
Sure. Absolutely.
And
So
then, and
yeah, you want to
obviously
see this
people,
red beard? I'm with you. Let's look at this
perfect.
red beard.
That's all I want to see. And
Yeah.
if anyone wants these slides, obviously, they can,
Yeah,
you
I'll
guys,
send these out. I'll give them to whoever, and we can get a, yeah, absolutely perfect. Good note. So, so here's my marketing plan. So on Mondays, I shoot photos, which means I get the photos back Tuesday morning. Tuesday morning, I send out a coming soon postcard. And so if I send it out Tuesday by using Quantum Digital, I can get it to the neighborhood by Saturday. And so on that postcard, I say coming soon or I say open house. On Wednesday, I'll use Land Voice and I'll do circle dialing in the neighborhood. Hey, your neighbor at 123 Main Street is about to sell their house. I wanted to let you know we're having an open house from 2 to 4. Neighbors only preview at 1:30 if you want to come a half hour before. Thursday, the sign goes in the yard. Friday, showing starts. Saturday morning, I'm door knocking the neighborhood with a flyer that says open house tomorrow, 2 to 4. And then I whisper in their ear, neighbors only preview at 1:30. And then Sunday, I have the open house 2 to 4. So at this point, they should see the sign in the yard Thursday, a postcard about the open house Friday or Saturday, me walking their neighborhood on Saturday, and then me again at the open house on Sunday. From there, I will find another listing in that neighborhood. Then I door knock again on the following Saturday when I go in contract. Hey, we went into contract. I'm not supposed to tell you that we're over list, but we are. And I don't write it down, but I knock on doors and tell them. And then I do the same thing again when it closes. So they see me walking their neighborhood 3 times and giving them updates and flyers. Now, when I say neighborhood, I'm talking like the 20 doors in that neighborhood, the 5 on either side and the 10 across the street. Now, if it rounds up to 25 or 30, I'll do that, but I'm not knocking 100 doors about a house 3 streets over. Because statistically speaking, if somebody wants to buy that house, it's in those 20 neighbors excuse me, those 20 neighbors know somebody. Oh, my sister wants to move into the neighborhood. Oh, my aunt wants to move this. So they know somebody that wants to get there. So you can get the buyer unrepresented. And then until I'm in contract, my job is to find a buyer for that house. Once I'm in contract, my job is to find the next seller in that neighborhood. And so my mindset shifts as soon as I go into contract. Now I've got to tell everybody what a great job I did. Let's go find another listing in that neighborhood. So that's kind of my marketing plan as things go out. Now, you get 3 listings in a week. It gets a little harder to do. I'll usually take one of my teammates with me. So there's 2 of us walking the neighborhood because 2 people walking seems a little less threatening than 3 people walking. But, wear something casual, wear something semi-professional and go from there. Let's see, postcard, door knocking, flyer to the home, open house invite, and then I do it again. Now you're closed. I do post closing thank you notes to almost everybody that was involved in the transaction. I do a handwritten thank you note, and I put 2 $5 gift cards to Starbucks in those gift cards, and I write in the note, "Hey, congratulations on your new home. Take a break, have a cup of coffee on me. The second gift card is for a friend that you think I might be able to help." And then the onus is on them to then either be somebody that uses both gift cards for themselves, or now they're thinking, "Hey, Rob did a great job for me. Who can Rob do a great job for on the other side?" So I do still door knock every other weekend. Just wait until it goes in. I door knock. I door knock before the open houses, and I door knock after it goes into contract. So if I'm not having an open house, I don't door knock. If I don't have an event to invite them to, I do not. I do not door knock without the event. So number of homes I target is 20 for postcards. I'll do more calls. If I don't get answers in those first 20 houses, I will reach back out and hit maybe 50 homes, and just so I get a good response rate. And I'm sending out postcards from a company called Quantum Digital. So you can pinpoint the house on their map, and then you can draw a circle around. So if you have hard boundaries, like you're on the edge of the school zone, or there's a river next to the house, you don't want to do just 0.5 miles around. You can actually draw a polygon and make it work the way you want to. All right. I think I got the chat caught up.
I think Tessa just asked, what do you do if the market, if the home just sits on the market?
So in my experience, you have enough feedback on whether you're positioned correctly in the market after 6 to 8 showings. So when you're marketing a home, you're talking about price, terms, condition, location, and exposure. So price, terms, and condition are all things that we decide with the seller. If it's overpriced, if it smells like dog, if they want to stay in the home for up to a year after closing, like those are hard things to negotiate. But after 6 to 8 showings, you're going to find out it smells like a dog, so we need to clean the carpets and paint. It's overpriced, and then you have those conversations with your seller. Now, location is what it is. You can't pick it up from one side of the river and move it to the other. And exposure is our job. So we got to make sure that it's our first impression on the internet is really the only impression. So we got to make sure it's priced right, that it's photographed right, and that we're allowing showings. If they're like, "Yep, you can see it Tuesday from noon to 2, and that's it." Well, that's not real exposure. If they can't see it, they won't buy it. So we got to make sure that we're getting the right exposure in there. So after 6 to 8 showings, you should have enough feedback to have the hard conversation with your client. And a lot of times I'll pre-negotiate that in the listing agreement. "Hey, I know that you want this. I think this is a better idea. Why don't we try it your way for 10 days? We'll list on a Friday. That gives you 2 full weekends at your price. If that doesn't work, then we're going to try plan B, which is," and I'll write it out in the listing agreement, have them initial it. So that on day 11, I don't even have to have that conversation. I'll just let them know, "Hey, these changes are coming. You're cool with that."
Awesome.
So for those of you that live in a neighborhood, you can dominate your neighborhood by taking business from other recent solds. So when somebody moves into my neighborhood, I will hit them with a door knock and a welcome gift. And the welcome gift is easy. It's toilet paper, Lysol wipes, paper towels, Windex, and coupons to my favorite pizza place. "Hey, my name is Rob. Congratulations on moving into the neighborhood. I know your agent Sarah was fantastic. If you ever need anything around here, like so-and-so's the HOA contact. This is my favorite landscaper. Call so-and-so to be a handyman." Because 86% of folks think their agent is great, but 20% of them use them again. Like they forget who Sarah is. Oh, her name was, she was that blonde girl from that company with the blue logo. I don't really remember. Great. Now they know you. So in 2 years when they get relocated or 3 years when they get divorced, who are they calling? The person that knocked on their door with pizza coupons. So then every time you walk your dog, you see them. Every time they're out washing the car, you see them. Like you dominate the neighborhood by making a good first impression. Hmm. Retirement is a four-letter word. The average realtor in the United States is a 63-year-old white lady. She is not going to work forever. And if she does, she's not going to be as sharp as you. You are going to be on the cutting edge of technology and the market and market trends on what's going on. So when Ethel is talking about retirement, don't use that word, Ethel. It gives your clients a reason to go find another realtor, and you are not going to do that. Why don't you partner with me? Just in name only, photo on the internet, put your license in escrow. But every time your phone rings, you say the phrase, "Oh, I'm in Florida this month. Why don't you call my protege? She will take great care of you. He will take great care of you." And then you give them a referral fee in perpetuity. All they got to do is keep their license active, but they cannot retire. And if you want to throw them a big retirement slash joining the team party so that they can celebrate their career, do so. But don't ever let them say, "I'm going to retire," because that book of business is worth something and you got to go get it. Those are my acres of diamonds. That's how I go find my next deal. What questions do you have for me?
Um, I could ask you plenty of questions. If you were to say, the last 5 deals that you've
Mhm.
done, where have they come from?
My last 5 deals have probably come from client calls. So every Monday and Tuesday, I try and power through 15 or 20 past client calls. Hey, how are you? What's going on? Any changes in your life? And then I ask two questions at the end of the call. What can I do for you? What can I do for you and your business? Are you looking for a new job somewhere? If they're an entrepreneur, what can I do for your business? And then I follow up with, "That's fantastic. Can you think of anything you can do to help me?" And then they start thinking about real estate deals. And so um, my last 4 or 5 deals have all come from that sphere.
And then how often are you touching them or making that phone call?
I'm calling 15 to 20 past clients every week, and so I start with the most recent and I work my way back. And so most people are like, "Well, I've got a bunch of past clients. Where do I start?" You start with the most recent, work your way back. And so I'm probably working on people that closed in 2014 and 15 right now.
But, like, how often are you calling that same person?
So it's probably happening every 3 months or so, 2.5, 3 months.
So every 2, 3 months, you're calling the same exact person, and then so, like, if you
Mhm,
called me 2 months ago and you're like, "Hey, Nazar, how's it going?" Blah, blah,
mhm.
blah, and then you call me 2 months later, are you saying the same script, or are you saying something different?
So, well, and so what I do is I try and take notes on what's going on. Hey, I know that you were looking for a new job. I know that you were going for that promotion. Like, did you get it? So I'm following up with whatever that conversation was.
Yeah.
And then I'm inviting them to the monthly happy hour. Hey, I didn't see you at the last happy hour. If you got free time, like, I know that you work, I know you work on Thursday, so that doesn't work for you. Do you want to grab breakfast sometime, grab a cup of coffee? Like, always trying to get that next face to face.
Okay, love that. While I'm asking more questions, if you guys in the group have more questions to ask or have anything specific, either unmute yourself and ask it or just put on the chat below. So Rob, I know you say you don't like spending money, but obviously you're spending some money on these, clients and past clients and Sphere.
Sure.
What is your monthly budget that you're allocating? And then how many deals have you done this like in the last 12 months?
So I spend probably around $1,500 on going out and getting drinks with clients and vendors. And so the housewarming party is great because I don't have to pay for it until after closing. So I use the money that I made from closing to pay for the party. And so if it's a smaller deal, it's a smaller party. If it's a bigger deal, it's a bigger party. Um, and so uh, last year I was running a team. We closed about 112 transactions. Since I'm here at 5 now, I'm not sure we're going to get to that number because the team's a little smaller, but we're still shooting for that 100 number is what we're looking for.
That's freaking awesome. I mean, to be able to do that with that small of a budget is pretty miraculous. Compared to
So
what other
yeah,
people have to
and
do.
well, I don't mind spending money. I love spending money on people that I know. And people that I'm with and people that I've closed deals with. And so I'll look at my spreadsheet and see which lender sent me the most deals last quarter. And then I'll take that lender out to lunch. When you take a lender or a vendor out to lunch, that you can see their socks roll up and down because they've never had a realtor pay for their meal before. The lenders and title folks are always picking up the check. So if you do that just one time, their next deal is going to come to you because nobody worries about putting them on the realtor expense account. They're always in their pockets.
Yeah, I love that. What other nuggets do you have as far as like small little things that you feel like you do that are different that make an impact? Maybe it's even in during the transaction that you're
Mhm,
starting to prime them for referrals and opportunities as they come up.
mhm. So during the transaction, I try and congratulate them on every hurdle. So we've made it through inspection, we've made it through remedy, we've made it through appraisal, and so once we've been through remedy and appraisal, hey, let's go have a celebratory drink. Let's go hit a happy hour or a lunch, or let me grab a cup of coffee with you, and just remind you, don't mess up your credit score, don't buy a car, don't finance a fridge, don't do any of that stuff, and then I will see you at the closing table. And then it's all about celebration. So you're starting that new chapter. Now it's a little harder if you're selling grandma's house because you're trying to respect the legacy of grandma. If you're going through a divorce, husband and wife are now upset with one another. But with buyers that are starting into that joyous process, you try and focus on that. When I work open houses, I bring another agent with me. I'll work the front door. I'll have the other agent stand in the kitchen as they come in. Hi, I'm Rob. This is Sarah. If you have any questions, just shout them out. Oh, by the way, if you could sign in, I'll trade you a cookie for a sign in, and I have a box of cookies. And then not everybody relates to me, but somebody might relate to Sarah instead. And so the ping pong usually works. And then instead of asking, do you have an agent? I say, do you have anybody that's sending you good deals right now? Like, first off, there are no good deals in Central Ohio. Like everything's top dollar. But sending you good deals, and my definition of a good deal is if we're in multiple offers, I'll get the other agent to tell me what the top dollar is, and then you can decide if you want to compete or not. Because then that's peace of mind. You can go to bed without putting that offer in. That's a good deal. If you've got an agent, like we've written 12 offers and we haven't won anything, well, that's not on you. That's on your agent not negotiating properly for you or getting the information you need to move forward. So I asked, do you have anybody sending you good deals? And that's different than, are you currently represented by an agent? Can I be your agent? It's just different.
So that's another nugget I think that everyone needs to take away. Now, another way about rephrase that is that I would say, is anybody sending you off market properties? Right? Is anybody
Mhm.
sending you listings that are not on the market? Because again, if you are in an area where it's, crazy multiple offer situation, then if you get an agent that's going to show you property that no one else knows about, that's a
Mhm.
huge opportunity, right? So I think that's a
Mhm.
fantastic way to be able to get that information saying, hey, is anybody sending you any good deals, or is anybody sending you off-market properties? No?
Mhm.
Well, that surprises me.
Yeah.
Well, if I do that for my own, private clients, and
Mhm.
that's your foot in the door.
Yeah. Well, and if they're coming to the open house and I just door knocked yesterday, hey, that blue two-story down the street told me that they're thinking about selling within the next year. Like, do you want me to go talk to them seriously about you buying that house? Oh, we love that house. We think that house is better than this house. Great. Let me see if I can put you two together.
Yep.
You become the local expert in that neighborhood because you've now met 4 or 5 neighbors, and the ones that answer their doors are usually the chatty Cathys, the nosy know-it-alls that'll give you all the dirt. Just remember it and then repeat it.
Yep. Love it. Tessa, very polite agent, has a question. She didn't want to be interrupt, or she didn't want to interrupt me. So,
Mhm.
Tessa, what is your question?
Yeah, for the first time, I want to be polite to you, Nazar. No. Um, yeah, so recently, I would say within this year, because I farm the community that I live in, and I have since 2020. And I've been like the self-proclaimed bad bitch of Terramore. I sell a lot of homes here. And this year, I'm no longer the queen. I don't have the market share. Um, so I've only sold one house here. I've represented one buyer here. And I had a baby, so I had to like take a little bit of time off, a little bit, but that's not an excuse. My question to you is, how would I get back in to, being like the queen again? Because I don't have any listings here at the moment. I have a listing appointment later today. But I mean, it's already June. So what would you recommend for me
Mhm.
to like get back
So
in?
I'm a research guy. I'd get in your MLS and figure out who took your business, and then
Oh, I already
kind of
knew. I
You
already
already
know.
know. Okay, so what are they doing? Are they postcarding? Are they door knocking? Like I would get a dog. You just had a baby. Like I'd take that baby in the stroller on a walk every
Yeah,
day and look for garage sales. Like that means they're cleaning up and getting ready to move. Look for big renovations. Like if they're remodeling their kitchen or doing a big landscape job, like chances are something is going on in there.
yeah.
Um, so I would do that. I would um, you can door knock or throw a little block party. Like bring the taco truck to your front house, knock on all the doors. Hey, everybody, I'm doing free tacos from 2 to 4. Why don't you come on out? Like my neighbor's going to do a margarita machine. Like throw a little party for everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a
Mhm.
really good idea. I mean, yeah, Nazar has taught me to be very good on like the data and the numbers and the research of the
Mhm.
community, and I do postcards, but I don't know, something about this, year, people haven't really been calling off postcards. Um
Right. Right.
yeah.
So.
It's kind of died with postcards. I'm still doing it. I'm not going to stop, but I started
Mhm.
doing like Facebook groups and putting that data into the Facebook groups, like this
Mhm.
is what our average price is and how many homes have sold in the last 60 days, blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But it needs to be more than that because my competitor in this neighborhood, and I have a nickname for him, but I won't say it. He's Mr. Social. He only sells in this community. He doesn't really sell outside here. So he goes to
Mhm.
all the community events, and I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to the community events now because
Yeah, knock him
I don't
off his
know.
post. Yeah.
Oh, I
Is
will.
there an elementary school? Is there an elementary school or middle school in your neighborhood?
It's not in my neighborhood, but it's like directly across from our neighborhood for sure.
Okay, so go over there and talk to the secretaries. They've got the dirt on everybody, and see if you can bring in donuts and coffee like once a month to the teachers' lounge from 7 a.m. to 8 a.m. and you get all the dirt from the teachers.
Okay. Okay. I'll do that. Yeah, because they're all the teachers are local here too. So that's a great
Hmm.
idea.
You might
Hmm.
also think about like how, what schools are there. And then, try to see if you can get involved in the school somehow.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
you got the older, you got the 55 and older area, right? So like
Yep.
what are the things that they're doing, like do they have pickleball courts there? And if they do, that might
Yeah,
be.
go play pickleball. Pickleball, pickleball, pickleball. Yep, those boomers are selling their houses, and if you can whip them in pickleball, like I bet you a listing agreement that I can beat you today.
Well,
Hmm.
I play pickleball. If you whoop an older person, they're not going to like you. So you want to lose to a person that's older
Right, but keep it close. Keep it within the spread. Don't let them know you're tanking it. Right.
for sure. But if you went there and you like brought Gatorade or
Yeah.
cold water
Hmm.
or like Cliff Bars or something like that, or like go get like one of those Misters, like the water balls with like the Mister fan things, when
Yeah.
it's super hot, like that could be a really cool thing to be able to give them, and then you can brand it to your name and stuff like that. So just a whole bunch of cool little ways that you can add value to people that are in that community.
And that's how
Hmm.
you stay in front of them essentially is by doing these things. So I'm gonna take these ideas. I like doing something for the community and giving back in that way. So
Mhm.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with asking for the business. Like I start that question with, "What can I
Yeah.
do for you?" Like, do you need a CMA? Are you trying to get rid of PMI, and you need a little like, and then follow it up with, what can you do for me? Like, do you know anybody that's looking to buy and sell? Do you know a good
Right.
lender that you can partner me with, and then get deals from that lender? So there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with asking for the business.
Rob, you already asked a couple of these questions. The precursor to that would be, what are your top 5 questions that you can ask when you talk to your sphere? Like, what are
Mhm.
the things that you feel like create the most dialogue and get you the best response?
So, what somebody's always going to ask at a dinner party, like, so you're in real estate? How's the market? The
Sure.
market's always great. Like, it's always great. Like, the best time to buy a house was yesterday. The next best time is right now.
So,
Things are moving up.
so from
Yeah.
a perspective, I mean, just to be fair, when I hear that answer from an agent, I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
that's self-serving, right? So, because sometimes it's not the best time to buy real estate, technically based on their
Hmm.
scenario, based on their circumstances.
Right. Based on their situation. Right. Hmm.
Right. And so, like, and not to derail what you're saying, I think that the best answer to, hey, how's the market would be, that's an interesting question. Why do you ask?
Hmm.
Before Tom Ferry
Okay.
would say, you ask, what, why are you buyer, seller, or investor? And
Right.
then like Phil Jones took it to the next level and saying, hey, I'm curious, why are you asking that question? Because
Hmm.
if they're asking you how's the market, either it's just because that's all they know to ask an agent, or
Right.
do they
Right.
have a reason? And if their reasoning is, I want to buy, or I want to sell, or I want to invest, or whatever it is. And if they ask you that question, you just come up and say, the market's great, then that
Mhm.
can, either dissuade them, or, they might actually not share why they're asking you that question. Does that make sense?
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good slowdown for me because, as you can tell, I like to run fast. So that's a good point.
Because if we ask them, well, tell me, I'm curious, why do you ask that question? And then they can say, well, I'm actually interested in buying an investment, or I'm actually interested in selling, or whatever it is. And then you can speak to
Mhm.
that instead of talking about
Mhm.
basic generic KCM, stats that really don't mean
Right.
anything. Yeah. Okay, cool.
Mhm.
So how's the
Yeah.
market? And then you answer that question. What are the other
So,
4 questions you asked?
uh, other four questions I had, I'm big on, Columbus is getting bigger. We've grown 10% in the last 10 years. So I always ask, are you from Columbus? If not, what brought you to Columbus? Um, and then I usually ask them, what's their favorite bar or restaurant in town? Like, we've got a pretty good culinary scene here in Central Ohio. It's a well hidden fact, or well hidden secret. So I'm like, great, I love that over there too. And at that point, then I'm like, great. Tell me about your living situation. Like, do you have a family? Do you have a wife? Do you have kids? Are you worried about school district? Like, just sort of that get to know you stuff. And the more relationship or bond building that you can get in the front, then the more trust you can build as you move forward. So I like to show value and build trust and then sell in that order.
Okay. What else?
So, what else? No, that's usually it. By then, people love me, and I just move on to the next thing. So.
I'm actually like, I want more of what you're asking your sphere or your past clients, not just some random person.
So when I'm asking my sphere and my past clients, like, I'm the one that sold them the house, so I'm making sure that they still like it, that they've introduced themselves to the neighbors. What's the gossip in the HOA? Like, the HOA is that uh, last layer of local government that seems to run unrestricted. So, like, who's got their hands on the third rail of power in your neighborhood? Like, do you like that? Do you not like that? And then, hey, when can we get together and hang out again? And so I'm always sort of pushing towards that in-person hangout.
Cool.
Mhm.
It's interesting because I would never think to say, "Hey, have you met your neighbors yet? Have you been to the local restaurants yet? Do you have any recommend, or do you need any recommendations to certain specific spots or locations, or maybe even like, having that list that you can have curated in advance that you can mail to them, or
Mhm.
email them, or text them, along the way. I think it's interesting because one of my, downfalls and limiting beliefs is that they don't want to talk to me, or I don't want to come off as salesy. And honestly, I have my group of friends. I don't want to be best friends with my past clients. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So like when that's the case, like I just feel so inauthentic calling them. However, if I call them with
Mhm.
purpose and I call them with value, then I can see myself potentially doing that, because I'm not trying to beat
Right.
them on the bush and pretend I'm their best friend.
Yeah, and I have to be the most educated agent in town so I can serve my clients the best. Hey, I've got somebody moving into your neighborhood. What's the elementary school like? What's your favorite restaurant? These are things that I can then turn around and share with my buyers. Hey, when you move in here, the head of the HOA is going to be all over you about your trash cans. And they're like, oh, we don't care about that. This elementary school is perfect for kids that ABC. And they're like, well, we're sending our kids private anyway. Okay, well, that opens up my sphere. So, depending on what my current buyers look like, is that's usually also directs my past client calls. So I can say, hey, what's going on in Reynoldsburg? What's going on in Worthington? What did the school board just do? Because the folks in that community generally know, or they'll find out and call me back so I can then better inform my clients.
I love it. Any other questions you guys have for Rob?
Um, I'll jump in real quick. Mr. Chicago, as they call me. So first of all, thanks. I thought a lot of your stuff is great, and I think, as a lot of us know, we all hear some of this same type of stuff, but sometimes it hits you a certain way. And some of the
Mhm.
stuff you said hit really well. Like, I loved you said, I've got a full page of notes here. Um, I love you said touch points throughout the transaction,
Mhm.
basically finding excuses to get together with them. Yeah, that's something I've known for a while, and I've occasionally done it thanks to like old school Buffini type stuff. But I would love to hear a little bit more color, I guess, on sort of like what you find for touch points and how you sort of naturally get there. Again,
Mhm.
I think similar to Nazar, my thing, my but is very often like, oh, I don't want to be sales. I don't want to, and similar as in those are, I've got a ton of friends. I can't necessarily have, 300 more friends that I actually stay in touch with.
Sure.
So
Sure.
I'd
So
love to just
yeah,
kind of hear more how you get there. That's all.
mhm. So
Thanks.
every timeline, no, every timeline check mark that we pass on the timeline is another touch point. Like, hey, we're through inspections, and then I'll take notes and be like, hey, we're through inspections, but they said the furnace was bad. So then I'll put a note in my CRM that when October comes and you start to use that furnace, like give them a call. Hey, don't forget you have that home warranty. So I start with value, and follow up with those touch points. And then my argument that I tell myself is, if I was a great agent for them, there's nobody else in the world that can be a better agent for their sphere than me, because I already know them and I already know that sphere, and I know that I can handle what they're looking for better than anybody else because I already have that knowledge base. And so sometimes I need to talk myself up before I make that phone call. I'm like, I don't want to call Steve and Judy again. They're just going to tell me that they're fine and they don't want to. Okay, great. Steve and Judy, how are the grandkids? Oh, I saw that the so and so police department where your grandson worked just got extra funding. Like, whatever you can pull out of the community headlines and put in front of them and just say, hey, congratulations, and then move on. They know it's a touch point. They know that you're salesy, but they also know that you care, as long as you don't come off as super salesy.
I love it. Just going back to the client parties, the
Mhm.
house parties. I think that to reiterate what you said, Rob, is that when you get that list to invite people, like you want to get that list from that homeowner.
Mhm.
You're the one wants to send those invitations out, and you could do it digitally, which I would, do both, but send out an actual
Right.
card. Like send out an actual card to invite them. And ideally, the front of that card is a picture of your past clients or your clients in front of the house with a sold sign, right?
Mhm.
So something that's more memorable and being able to send to them. I remember one of my last housewarming parties I did. I don't know if you guys can see this, but like I made a cake
Yeah.
and like brought the cake to them and they're like super blown away that I can do that. And like, it was just, something special, a little bit different than just hosting it. So, if you play an
Mhm.
instrument or you can do something fun, like be more creative to be able to be more personable instead of just doing like just a vanilla, basic
Mhm.
thing. If that makes any sense.
And it doesn't have to be a housewarming party. It can be going away party. If they're moving out of state, hey, let's throw a going away party. Like, before you get back to that, hey, do you mind if I invite your neighbors over? Like, you get the 30 names, then you door knock the neighborhood, then you'll get another listing. Like, you can shake hands all the way to a better future.
100%. I love that, especially if they've like really ingrained into that community, or if it's
Mhm.
a church, person that goes to church a lot and they have a lot of friends there, then inviting those people. So it doesn't necessarily have to be a
Mhm.
geographic thing; it could be a demographic thing.
Mhm.
So yeah, lots of great ways to be able to do it. So, and then if you find out what they like, again for me, pickleball is a big thing. So I've got a group of people that I play pickleball with. So if my realtor said, hey, I'd love to be able to host a pickleball going away party for you, because that'd be something that, I would love to do. Then if you like, brought some pizzas and drinks and stuff like that and, put a game together with my friends, that'd be an easy way for you to be able to see and connect with all of them. Right. So anyway. All right, you guys, unless there's any other questions, Rob, thank you so much for hosting
My
this week.
pleasure. Thanks for having me. This was great.
Absolutely. I think it's always, even though nothing you said is like brand new, it's a
Right.
lot of like the stuff that we've overheard, but we're not practicing
Yeah.
or we're not doing or we forgot or whatever it is. And it's just a fresh pair of, ears to listen to the
There
other.
is nothing new under the sun. Like, we do not need to reinvent the wheel. We just need to figure out what we're good at and then perfect that.
I love it. I love it. All right, guys, we'll talk to you guys next week. Otherwise, have an amazing weekend and we'll see you guys next Thursday. Bye. Thanks,
Sounds
Rob.
great. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.